Welcome back to this video series on structured query language. In this video, I want to jump right back into our MySQL Workbench environment and begin to do some querying. And so in the previous video, we inserted some records into our table. We checked it by running a select statement. That was our first statement that we ran to return all the records. This asterisk here basically says select all the columns. Now, if we wanted to, we could say select a particular column. So in this case, we could say album name. And then we can execute that. And then it only gives us the album name. So we can, if we want, we can select specific columns to return or retrieve. And so we could also change the name by using a command called as. And so we could say, let's give it a name. And so now if we run this and execute it, instead of showing up as album underscore name, we could give it something such as this name. So we execute this, and there we go. So we can change the name of our columns by using the as keyword. So let's take a look at some more select queries or some more select commands we can run here. And we're going to only focus on the album table today, or in this video. And then when we'll have another section on more advanced querying where we'll do some joins and we'll look at some other ways of creating some more intricate select statements. So next thing here, let's say we want to retrieve a specific record. And so if we want, we can just use something called the where clause. So let me bring back all my records. And let's say that we wanted to pull out record number, ID number 5, Abbey Road. Or let's say, for instance, we want to pull out Thriller. So we could say select all of the columns with the asterisk from album. And then we'll use the where keyword, where command. And some people like to put these on different lines. And so sometimes you'll see this. So select, and they like to stack them. If that's your flavor of writing SQL code commands, so be it. Feel free to do that, or you can just keep it all on one line. So select all of the columns from album where we'll say album ID is equal to 1 or 12. We'll just highlight that command and we'll execute it, and then that gives us Thriller. And we could change this here. We don't have to just do the ID number. We could say execute it where give us all the ones where the album genre is equal to pop. And this is not going to return just one row, but it should return all the rows that have pop. So we'll execute that. And at this point, we just have 2 that have pop. I thought there was way more than just 2. So watch this here. Let me just double check here. So we'll run this. Yeah, there's only 2. So there's record 12. Record 2. So we run it again, 2 and 12. Yep. So that's correct. Now there is this other keyword called limit. And we could say limit 1. And what do you think is going to happen in this case here if we were to execute this? It's going to give us the 1 record back. And so if we were to run, let's say if we returned 15, we said limit 2, it would only give us the top 2 in this case. So that's what the limit does. And notice that I'm putting a semicolon after each command so that it notates that that's the end of the command. There are also some really helpful functions within these select statements. So we can do a function such as this here. So we can say select, and we can say the count, and we'll just pass in album ID. From album. And what we'll do is we'll just name this something different. We'll say as total number of albums. And we'll just execute this here. So this is a function where we're going to pass in the column, and it's going to give us a total number of columns or total number of albums within this table. So we'll execute that, and in here we have 19, and it gives us the column. We could do the average, and so let's say that what is the average year? Let's say we don't, let me actually see if there's a better column to pick on here. Yeah, let's just say average year, right? So here there's another function called average, AVG, and we'll just say album release year. We'll say as. And we'll execute that. And what it's going to do is it's going to tally all of these up and give us the average release year. Why would you want to know that information? Not sure, but you may just want to know. And by the way, I got this information from a magazine called Rolling Stone. And there's a link in the sheet if you want to look up some of this data. I was just thinking of a good data set. So no real intention there behind choosing this data. But if you want to look up more information about that, you can go to this link here. Okay, so let's jump back here and let's execute this here. So there's the average, there's count, there's sum, there's min, there's max. There's a lot of different functions we can use. And so let's execute. And that's the average year. We can say what's the max, and that'll give us the year. The latest year. So if we change this here to max year, or latest year, maybe 2015, right? We can say the earliest year, the oldest, and that was 1965. So there's a lot that we can do with the querying. We can figure out, we could query in between a range. And so let's select all the columns from album where album year is greater than or equal to, let's say 2000, or let's say 1990 or 1980, and we use the keyword and album release year is less than 2022. So it's going to basically retrieve all of the movies that's in between these 2 years. And so we take this command and we execute it. And it should have all the movies that are between 1980, not movies, but albums between 1980 and the year 2020. And so we just take a quick glance. We can also say count. So we can say album name. And give me a count of album release year. Now we can execute that. And it says 7. We probably just want to get rid of the album name here. All right, so that's some few basic queries that we can run here. We're gonna look at some more in the next video. We'll get into some more intense queries or intricate queries versus more of just the basic querying. So stay tuned for the next video.